Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator.
What are some movie sequels you can think of that, good or bad, don't have the same high stakes of the film that came before it? You know, there's a lot. There's a lot. I think the most obvious one, Chad, and I think this franchise has been brought up in conversation since the release of Prey. You know, wait, get your inner emo ready. Oh, I got him. That's when I talk about fucking Vincent Valentine. He is very emo, no doubt about it. But to answer the question, I brought up a number of franchises, but the first franchise I want to bring up, and it's just because it's kind of been talked about recently. Not that it's, it's always been in the kind of the zeitgeist of like they need to fix this, but it's recently been brought back up in regards to the release of Prey, which is kind of revitalized the Predator franchise. People are excited about it again, right? And that is the Terminator franchise, chat. And there's only so many fucking movies you can do where you got to stop Judgment Day, okay? Where in like you have the first one where the stakes are we need to save this woman because she's going to literally give birth to the savior of humanity, okay? And then you get to the next film. It's like the savior of humanity, he already got pooped out. He's already out there, already walking around and stuff, hacking things, stealing things, right? Little Eddie Furlong, right? Well, now you got to make sure he doesn't die, okay? And also prevent Judgment Day from happening. Prevent, from Skynet from going online. But then it's like, okay, we fucking did it. We did it again. It's like, okay, but now the next time we're going to do it in the third movie, and he's a little bit older now. He's now like in his late teens, early 20s, okay? And you got to stop it again. You got to stop Judgment Day. It's like, okay. And then once again, now, like, I don't even hate Terminator 3. It just feels like a lesser version of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But it's like, yeah, it's just not as interesting. It's not interesting. The stakes are like, okay, we got to stop Judgment Day again. It's like, and what's kind of cool though is like to that movie, like Judgment Day just fucking happens. It's like, oh, that's the most interesting aspect of that film. Which again, I don't think it's bad, but the most interesting thing about the one new thing they brought to that franchise, other than a Terminator that grows boobs, remember that, Chad, that scene in the movie where they have that female Terminator come in and she grows boobs. It's like. And I was like, well, look at that. But the one interesting thing about that movie is that literally the Terminator was fooled John Connor and his future wife into thinking like, oh yeah, we're here to stop Judgment Day. It's like, no, we're not. It's already happening. I'm just making sure that you fucking live. You be in the bunker when all the nukes go off. It's like, oh, okay. Like that was interesting. But overall, throughout the movie, it just felt like we're fucking spinning our wheels here. It felt the same. And in the fourth film, you had it where, okay, Judgment Day is coming past. We're now in the apocalypse. The machines have risen. We got to fight against them. In retrospect, really, Chet, in hindsight, it's like, wow, that movie did have a really good, that's what probably the direction they should have went with the franchise. It's just, I don't know. It just, I don't know. It wasn't that interesting. It didn't have a lot of personality. Good ideas, and piss poor execution, in my opinion, with Terminator 4. But interesting ideas. And then 5, we're just going to do 1 and 2 again. It was the same fucking problem with Terminator Genisys. We're just remaking Terminator 1, Terminator 2. That's it. And then the Dark Fate, it's the same fucking thing. We're just trying to prevent Judgment Day. And, I mean, the Terminator is an example of a franchise that they kept trying to go bigger, but they kept trying to do the same thing most of the time, and it floundered with every sequel. Especially these last two with Dark Fate and with Genesis thing is the worst one, but Dark Fate's also pretty goddamn bad. Like, I think fucking Dark Fate's probably the second worst. If I were to rank the Terminator movies, shit, I'd probably go Terminator 2. I would say Terminator 2. Very close, very, very close second, though, is maybe the first Terminator. I'm kind of back and forth. But let's say Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Very close second, Terminator 1. I mean, I don't know. Terminator 4? I mean, this one where like, I don't even know. Like maybe Terminator 4, maybe Terminator 3. And then after that, fucking Dark Fate and Genesis. Just bullshit. But people think back to the original Terminator. Like, it's very different than the other films in the franchise. It's a sci-fi action horror film. The way in which Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator acts his performance, he's very much like a slasher in that movie. kind of the sensibilities of a lot of slasher movies at that time. Like Michael Myers, if you will. He's this force that you just can't stop. He's the shape. He's literally the mechanical shape. But once we got to Terminator 2, and it became straight up sci-fi action franchise, and that's where all the other movies went. And maybe if they were to, because Paramount owns the property, like maybe if they were to reapproach, if they were to go back and like, okay, they want to return to the Terminator franchise, maybe let's do a movie that is more in common with the original Terminator. Let's make it more of a horror film. Again, maybe you can do it where it's a period piece, Maybe you can move away from, the whole Sarah Connor, John Connor thing, but maybe you look at what Prey did and we go back in the past and you make it a period piece and you have a Terminator which is pretending to be, like, live in society. Like, if I had to come up with an idea for a Terminator film, I think it would be really cool if you have a guy, like maybe it has a little bit more in common with also like John Carpenter's They Live. Like a person has become aware that there are machines within this society and like no one else is noticing that. And the whole premise of the movie is like you don't know who a Terminator is. And he fucking figures this out that, maybe there's some evil Skynet plan or whatever. And this guy or this woman or this group of people, they realize like, oh, there's a shit ton of robots everywhere. What is this about? And that's kind of what it would be. You would make it more of a thriller instead of an action sci-fi movie. Like you can bring in the action, you can bring in the sci-fi, you can bring in the horror, but I want to make it more of a horror thriller with Terminators. I think that would be really cool. That's how I would approach it at this point because clearly it's not working with the action sci-fi stuff anymore. It's just not. Making a straight up like big bombastic action movie, like they keep fucking failing, and so let's kind of let's incorporate different genres or at least a genre that Terminator has not indulged in since the original. That's my idea. Let's see what you guys are saying. I like Dark Fate a lot. Yeah, I'm not a big Dark Fate fan, but to each their own. I would even took a Robocop vs. Terminator film based on the comics. Aaron says Dark Knight is a masterpiece. It is. I love the Dark Knight. Claustrophobic atmosphere. That's what I would do. Rise of the Machines is the last Terminator I've seen. You're not missing much, Sir Warwick, honestly. You're not missing much. Maybe the Terminator needs that prey. It doesn't need that prey treatment. Terminator is my favorite. T2 lost the slasher, brooding, pessimistic view of the future I loved. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of always back and forth which one I like more, Terminator 1 or T1 or T2. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 was good. That'd be interesting. Thank you. That's the thing. Chris, Terminator in the comics is much more than Sarah and John Connor. Exactly. They got to move. At this point, you have to move away from it. You have to move away from that storyline, I feel like. Sure. Yes, Hollywood. Listen to Chris. Here the Jews. Oh, thank you. My wisdom. I have so much wisdom to share with you, but it has fallen on deaf ears. Chris, you hate when they kill John Connor at the beginning of the Termination Dark Fate. I was more. I was just like, all right. The thing was, though, I was like, okay, the thing. I was like, all right, I was not hating it on that initially. My whole thing was with Dark Fate, okay, cool. So we're going to do something really different in this movie. And we don't. We just we literally find a John Connor replacement. That's it. They thought like, oh, well, we're just going to kill John Connor, but now we're going to replace him with this person. And it's just the same movie again. It's the same fucking thing. It's like what I was saying. And so I was at kind of a point where it's like, well, what was the point of doing it anyway? I was like, all right, you do something shocking, okay, and then you're going to do something very different right after that, right? No. They just do the same fucking shit. And that's it. And so initially I was like, all right, movie, what are you going to do now? Okay, you're subverting my expectations. But yeah, they don't do anything new. Just match Terminator in the 1800s. Yeah, something like that. Why not? So your attention is sleeper army of the present day, 100%. 100% DDR. So like it's a sleeper army, kind of like They Live, where they're in control of a lot of aspects of society, and they're going to make sure like, these certain things happen where they can have control. And like no one, like you have maybe this group of a contingent of people that know about this, or maybe you have like this schmuck, this schlub, who's like, that was fucking weird. And then they realize like there is this weird kind of war going on, beneath the surface. And he or she's brought into it. And they're like, oh my God. That's how I would approach it. Do they do that with Samurai Legend? A guy that doesn't know he's a Terminator that finds out he is. Oh, my idea where it's not like the guy would be a Terminator. He just learns that there are people pretending to be, Terminators pretending to be people. and he becomes privy to this. That's my idea for it. And like no one believes him, or he doesn't know who to trust. So it becomes like a, I mean, again, it's more of a horror thriller than it is like a sci-fi action adventure movie. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Let's see here. Rise of the Machines has that ending. Yeah, the Connors, the Skywalker. We got to move away from them. Oh, Leigh Whannell. Leigh Whannell, I think, would be a great guy to do a Terminator spin-off movie. Killing Connor was interesting until they did the exact. Yep. There you go. Beat me to say so. Yep, nailed it. We're on the same wavelength, Bishop Sycamore. Chris, that was the biggest issue I had with the movie. It had me at first, and then this is the same thing. Not gonna lie, Chris, the theater walked out when John was killed. Really? Wow. Mine didn't. People went, oh. When I saw the movie, everyone was like, oh, jeez. Oh, he's dead. They killed. And then after that, everyone was really bored. The only thing that was supposed to be shocking, which it wasn't to me, was, oh, you aren't going to be giving birth to the chosen one. You are the chosen one. Yeah. And they did do that show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I actually watched and liked. This is Lena Headey. Terminators don't even know they are robots. Empire Strikes Back was sleepers. Can we have a Roddy Piper, Keith David? 100%. You can definitely have a fight like that. Casey, by the way, been watching Evo coverage today, which was, we were talking about that with Edge Berserker. Fun experience to see international players coming together to play SF6 Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, etc., etc. Did you watch Sarah Connor Chronicles? I watched a little bit of it. I did. I liked it. It was fun. But it wasn't exactly doing anything too new. What I did appreciate about it is that, okay, it takes place after the events of Terminator 2. Even though there's some weird continuity things, but in any case, I like that we saw more of the John and Sarah relationship. I liked it for that. I thought that was pretty cool. Which was, obviously definitely missing from the movies. I mean, that wasn't the focus of T2. But, I like that. I thought that made it stand out, and it kind of earned its place. But yeah, no, if like I said, if I was to do something new with the Terminator franchise, do a back to basics approach not in terms of story, but in terms of the original tone of that first movie, sci-fi horror thriller, new characters, don't even mention the Connors, I would like it if you have it where if you have someone who becomes privy or becomes aware of the fact, like, there are Terminators embedded in society and they're planning something and they're doing things. They're trying to maintain control. I think that'd be cool. And this person, whoever you want, a male, female, whoever, and they become aware of this and like, what the fuck? And maybe they meet other people who also know about this, and you can do your crazy sci-fi action shenanigans towards the end, but it's like it becomes about the tension. It becomes about the fear of who is a Terminator, who's not. Like, what if you have a thing in the movie where this guy, he has like these friends, or he has like family members that he trusts, and they ghost them, but he realized like they've all been replaced by Terminators and they're all fucking dead. It's like oh shit, so you just don't know. That's what I would do. That would be my idea. It would tonally be similar to the first one, but it would not be the same plot as the first one. It's what Prey has done most recently, which is why it is much as a success as it is right now.